What's up, everybody? We're back with some more Nova Drift.
Nova Drift!
Before I begin, I'd like to thank Sir Platinum Slurk, Luanshun, Endel, Meister Gherkinsalat, Zinthus, Ultra Viper, Buzzkill, Hyper Exalted God King, Supreme Mega Ultra Dave, Marco Dendecker, and Lyric Troll 5232 for being members of our Patreon. If you'd like to be a member of our Patreon, go to patreon.com to see the link in the description.
What is happening today?
Yeah. So today I'm going to do a build that a lot of people have said that I should do for a while, and I have relucted because I think it's a good build, but I think it might not necessarily be the most interesting to watch, but we're going to find out.
Okay.
We're going to be doing some infused blades with Spectre. Spectre is not a body that I take very often, but my reasoning is I think it's potentially less interesting to watch.
There's the Reflect shield up in the top right if you want it.
There's Reflect. There's also Siphon. I think both of them are interesting.
I think those are probably the two strongest for Sentinel. Or for... Not Sentinel. Yeah, I guess being a bully.
You know, look, the blade got behind him. It's fine.
Spectre. That's the name.
That's the one. This guy right here.
It's the first human Spectre.
Just gonna be nice and stealthy. And then we're gonna zap people. They're not even gonna know what's happening.
From long range?
From long range.
How long? Because, I mean, there's eyeballs right there.
You know, eyeballs ain't bad because that gives them more of an opportunity not to hit us, because the bigger the screen is, the less likely they are to hit us.
It's true.
So, we'll see how well this goes, and we'll see how interesting it is to watch.
Will the tiniest Spectre. The tiniest Spectre.
We're just a tiny speck.
I mean, you basically got the boss, just like one more little hit.
Got him. Come on, little blade. Get him. Dang. Don't worry. We'll get him. There, got him.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Oh, more bigness.
I mean, it's
It's an ultra rare, and it was your first two. Like you gotta do it, right?
what is happening?
What is happening today? So those guys like we're firing everywhere. The start of the video was weird. The build is an odd one, and the game is giving us ultra rares right off the bat. You don't want that one.
Maybe velocity I could do.
Velocity's not bad.
I don't know if I want
Not super necessary,
multi
though.
blades or not. I
Multi-blade.
probably do, maybe.
I don't know.
Possibly.
Want one big angry blade? Beyblade?
I'll
Let
get,
it rip!
I'll get volley and see how it goes. I think it's gonna help me.
Hit
Kinda-
more things, especially early on,
Yeah.
at least. Well, you definitely don't want Rampage. That'll ruin your Spectre.
Yeah.
But,
I need
mean,
shield cooldown because I need discharge.
Yes.
So we'll grab you. Targeting is probably not awful. I could go flash. I think I'd rather have volatile shields instead of that. Efficiency's not bad because while my blades are out,
You're not firing yet.
but that depends on how often my blades are going to be out. Like I can, you know, I can wrap them and it gives me a little bit extra time, but
Not a bad one to have. Targeting's not bad.
I'm just gonna reroll. I'm gonna reroll like a rebel.
Okay, well, there's velocity again.
We need magnitude.
Yes.
It's like those teens in Power Rangers. Teens with magnitude.
No, that's attitude.
Oh, well, I mean,
Magnitude is... Was he the class president on the campus or something like that?
magna cum laude. You think of that?
No. I want to say it was community? Ah, shoot. Now I'm questioning myself. magnitude? No, LA has no idea what I'm talking about, so hold on. Google.
Google, save me.
Community mag. I'm pretty sure that's the pop guy.
The pop guy.
Yeah, and yes. I was right. Hold on. Hold on.
The pop guy?
No, no. Some people in the comments already know what I'm talking about. Give me a second. Let me pull this up.
Yeah, but I don't. I'm in the dark.
He calls himself Magnitude as a portmanteau of magnetic and attitude. Because he has a magnetic personality and a lot of attitude. Self-described one-man party. He's a very popular guy on campus. Often the first one called to liven up any festivities being held. He is known for his signature catchphrase, "Pop, pop," along with his accompanying raise the roof gesture.
All right.
I don't know. I don't even know why that came into... I've lost the plot again.
You know what? I could get Splinter, but I didn't have to, so I didn't. Grab focus fire to focus my fire, as it were. Snipe is fine. Challenger. Oh, that's a Challenger Snick.
There's a challenge. And it's a boost!
Alright then. That worked out.
You don't want charge shot.
I want Volatile Shields for discharge. I also want Incandescence because we're going to be doing a lot of burn damage, but I'll get Volatile Shields first to try to get discharge online. Solar Heart is actually a pretty good pickup because the blades hit very often, very fast, so the base damage will do a lot, plus more burn damage. We're going to be doing a lot of burn damage, so we double dip pretty hard from that.
True. But you currently don't have a whole lot of safety, and you do already have 3 other wild mobs.
Yeah, but that won't be so much off the bat.
If you take one now,
Yeah, I think
it's probably okay.
Taking one is fine.
Oh yeah, you're actually super fine.
Got him.
Got him.
Again, like Splinter is fine, but I want to believe. Oh, there's Discharge and there's Bravado. Bravado gives me more stealth damagey stuff, and it's rarer. I'm gonna grab the Bravado, even though Discharge was right there. I like how I can fire and they're still not quite sure where I'm at because I re-stealth just instantaneously. Hey. Your lucky guess. Okay, I take the Incandescence for when I get the discharge.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Let's see. Set off the mines. Scoot around. Get some XP. Just essentially face check everyone with my blades for now because it works. Oh, that was the first guy that survived a volley. Fragment. Meta charge. Boost.
You got all the things just valid the back to back there.
Alright, so I
Meta
got
charge and a boost and a...
I got the discharge now. Just gonna be pretty lackluster until I infuse it.
Yeah. Oh, did I get him?
Yeah, in fact, there's really nothing stopping me from actually getting in here and doing things for once.
Yeah. They don't know where you are. They won't fight. I don't even think they'll... Oh, actually, you already got the mine layers. Are the grenadiers?
Not all of them.
Yeah, there it is. What's he shooting at?
Why'd you shield that nub?
That's okay. Just hit something else. You do enough damage.
No, I wanted to hit the nub. It was personal.
Not only did you not get yelled at, he didn't even get to phase 2.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
had it coming. Don't need any of this. It's like rapid fire is fine, regen's fine. I'll probably grab the regen just for safety. I could go into wild mods, but that's not doing anything for me now. I could get targeting, but yeah, let's just re-roll until we get the whole reason for the build, baby.
Until you get something.
Now we got the zap attacks from stealth. Turns out, stealth is pretty good.
It is very good.
I'd argue sometimes it feels a little too good, which is why I don't pick it very often. I'm a masochist. Winnow. I probably should take efficiency just the safest of the safeties.
Yeah, it's the smart option.
And then with as much hitting and burning as I'm doing, I think a corrosion is fine here. And I gotta slowly sneak my way over. There's gonna be a lot of strafe stands that are gonna be like, you could strafe and stay stealth.
That's true. You could.
I could, but I don't wanna.
Okay. You don't have to.
Solar Heart.
Another
Part
one?
2. Is that
Compound.
let me hit exit. Let me kind of see what I'm looking at here.
The one burn is already fairly rough.
It would be a little more than double that.
A little more than double that, which is still manageable, but if you do, you're not picking up any more wild mods until you get some more safety.
Yeah.
It would be my argument. You also could just wait to pick it up till later. It's a boost!
Yeah, and I don't think I need it,
Okay.
as evidenced by, all of this that I'm just doing casually. So in that case...
A little bit of targeting's not bad.
Yeah, well...
Better shield's not bad.
We'll grab the
some-
targeting.
You could take some strafe.
I could. And I'm sure
You
there's a
could.
lot of people that are like, you should. So I'm going to roll
Well,
past.
what was it like Friendos? Purification's
Purification...
pretty
A lot more burn and a lot more recovery, but a lot less weapon damage. But I feel like with
Infuse, it does do a lot of burn, so...
I'm more focusing on the burn damage than I am the weapon damage, I think.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm sure it's debatable. I'm sure someone will
But it's also
argue
the
otherwise.
safety.
Elegant Construction is just good.
That also makes the next Solar Heart you take that much better. Assuming you end up taking another one.
Which I may or may not do. It makes it both better and worse, technically, I guess, sort of.
Does it?
Because I lowered my weapon damage, but I increased my burn damage, so...
Right.
Yeah.
But Solar Heart increases both of those things.
Yeah, so I wouldn't argue that it makes it more better.
I think... Hard to say, right? Without, like, crunching some hard numbers. I think Solar Heart does more for burn than it does for raw damage.
I don't think that's true.
You don't think that's true?
Because it's 2% burn damage, but a flat 2... It depends on the weapon. If you have a hard-hitting weapon, that flat 2 damage does nothing. But if you have a weapon that does a lot of smaller hits, like Blade, for example, I think
That
it
flat
equates to
two,
a lot
the
more.
flat 2 can add up, but 2%
And that's
can also be
base 2.
huge.
That's base 2, so that's then
Yeah.
that gets multiplied by, etc. and so on.
I think
I think the 2%
like I
is
said,
always
I think
flat.
it depends on the it depends on the build. I don't know if Blade hits fast enough.
It's pretty darn fast.
It hits pretty fast.
Just grab some adaptive armor just so I'm not blowing any more rerolls.
But once you start getting big burn numbers, 2%'s a lot.
Got him. Yeah, this build's pretty good.
Is that an acceptable winnow? I don't think you need any of that, actually.
Aggressive, regenerative shields, I think would be.
I know
good.
that was a slip of the tongue, but I want that as a mod. Just aggressive shields.
Well,
like,
that's like Halo.
Yeah, well, yeah, but give me something called aggressive shields that gives me, like, let it work along the same idea as, like, what's the rebuke.
Yeah.
Let me just Captain America my shield forward.
That would be pretty cool.
Just aggressive shields. Just launch your shield forward.
Oh.
It'll do its effects out there, and then it'll come back to you.
Now with that, my shield is perfectly sustainable.
Yeah, that's pretty good. In fact, you're technically still going up.
Yep. Which means that I have room for improvement.
Ooh. How does evolutionary niche help you here?
It improves my stealth stuff, so I'll get more damage from stealth, and I will stealth faster.
Yeah?
So, yeah.
It's damage and stealthiness. You just more rogue per rogue.
No. XP go down to hole. Try to get as much XP as I can. Just kind of...
XP go down the hole. Plucky was never my favorite of the Tiny Toons. Wait, was that Plucky?
Yeah.
Or was that the mouse?
Possibly both, but Plucky definitely did it. Boop. I don't know why, but whenever someone mentions Tiny Toons, the first thing that I think of is their musical number episode, and then to be even more specific, their rendition of Istanbul, not Constantinople. Self-destruction's probably fine here. Okay. But yeah, there's it's been forever since I've seen it, but there's a lot of songs in that one episode. There was the Istanbul one. There was one about wrestlers.
One about wrestlers.
Yeah. Universe Man, etc. I don't remember all the words. That was part of it, and that was the cadence, and that's all you get from me out of my very limited memory. And it was all done by one band, and I'm trying to remember the name of the band. It might have been like Butthole Surfers or something. I don't remember.
They might be giants.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Butthole Surfers.
Look, that was a band. I didn't make it up.
Butthole Surfers is a band?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like, well, now I got to do investigations. Yeah, I didn't just come up with that off the top of my head, I promise.
Sure.
You got the power of the internet. Look. Do it. I dares you. Well, there went Punchy Magoo.
What? Butthole Surfers. 1981. What? They're not even like...
Yeah.
I would have said that they were a name like that. They were something pretty new. But no, that's...
We just get burnout reactors here, right? We don't care if our stuff explodes.
No, yeah, pretty much.
Eh. Like, it can still make it back to us before dying. Well, yeah. I mean, they got quite the name, but they're not obscure. I'm surprised you never heard of them.
I've never heard of them. I'm looking at their list of most popular songs, and I don't recognize the names of any of those.
We grew up in different crowds.
Apparently. Well, there's one here labeled as the Hurdy-Gurdy Man, and I like the Hurdy-Gurdy just as an instrument. That's just a close-up of a belly button. What is happening? What rabbit hole have you sent me down? Oh.
Yeah, go on. You sound like you made a discovery.
That's... Well, it's a weird music video that starts immediately with spiders, so don't go looking at it.
Well, yeah, if you have a spider thing, I suppose.
There is also no hurdy-gurdy in that song, so I'm immediately no longer interested. How are you going to have a song called The Hurdy-Gurdy Man and not even use the instrument?
I mean, you didn't listen to the lyrics of the song. Maybe it's about a hurdy-gurdy man.
Nope, I don't care. It's like, it would be like if somebody tried to do a guitar cover of Piano Man. It just ain't right.
Oh, do I take another solar art? Do I live
course
the
you do.
dream?
You live every dream.
Sneak on over, get the XP.
There's actually a lot of people doing guitar covers of Piano Man. Why? I mean, I get it. You play the guitar. Go ahead. You play cool. It's a good song, but it's Piano Man. You gotta play it on the piano. It's like it's in the name, man.
Well, I mean, hurdy-gurdy man was in it, and there's no hurdy-gurdy.
And they didn't. I apparently have problems. All right, I'm putting YouTube away. I'm done.
It's like, no pianos and no hurdy-gurdies. I'm done.
Ugh. It's a shame. The hurdy-gurdy is like one of my favorite instruments.
I'm not really familiar with it as an instrument, but as a name, top tier.
It's a great name. Let's see. Trying to think of where you would have heard it from. I know you would have heard it in like
From the Butthole Surfers.
No. Because you wouldn't know what a hurdy-gurdy is.
Look, you didn't say knowledge of what it, you just heard of it. I've heard of it from Butthole Surfers.
Oh, if you've heard the instrument. They use it in the intro and in a lot of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
Okay.
It's kind of like... God, how do you even describe a hurdy-gurdy?
You take your hurdy-gurdy and you turn your stuff around.
Well, it definitely turns. So a hurdy-gurdy is like, it's a box, okay? Obviously, most of the time it's a fancy box, but there are some very inexpensive versions that are just a box. And it has keys on it, so think like an accordion.
Okay.
But inside that box are strings, like a violin. And then it's got a gear crank. So that as you're cranking it, it just does this like droning effect, and then as you play the keys, it like drones the notes.
Okay.
So it's like a self-contained like percussion and strings instrument at the same time. And it's just got this real Renaissance fair vibe to it.
Sure. I can dig it.
And again, if you can think of the intro song to Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, the whole, dreaming of the stars on high, that first intro song there, they get to the bridge and it's very hurdy-gurdy.
And then the Battle of Big Bridge plays.
Well, that's a different Final Fantasy song, which is also amazing. I was playing Final Fantasy 14 last night, and I just unlocked and did the first fight with Gilgamesh. And it was the Clash on the big bridge with that song and everything, and it was wonderful. But, God, the quest leading up to that, it's just a whole party of one brain cell, and nobody had it.
Yeah, I mean, in the course of Final Fantasy, there's a lot of that goes on in multiple games.
Gilgamesh himself is a very cool concept character that they could have made him like the most serious, dangerous thing in all of Final Fantasy realities.
But he's
like, if you're
super not that.
he's super not that, which is wild because like if you know Final Fantasies, like every Final Fantasy has a Cid. Not every, most Final
Many.
Fantasies have a Cid, but they're different Cids.
Just like many
Gilgamesh,
have Biggs and Wedge.
Yeah, they most have Biggs and Wedge, but they're different Biggs and Wedge in each game. They're just characters that happen to have that name. Gilgamesh is the same Gilgamesh in every game. He's a dimensional hopping being. Sometimes by choice, sometimes not.
Look, there are other Final Fantasy characters that can hop dimensions.
Are there?
Yeah. How do you think Cloud got into tactics?
Well, okay, but that ends up being like a one-time thing, versus Gilgamesh has been in many Final Fantasies.
Look, you didn't quantify I needed, be able to do it multiple times.
Well, but it's like Cloud being a dimensional hopping character isn't a core piece of his character. It's a thing that has happened.
It depends on what they do with the second part of Remake and Rebirth.
Oh, I don't.
So it's possible.
It's possible, but at least as of this point, Cloud being a dimensional hopping being is not a plot point of Cloud.
Yeah.
Versus with Gilgamesh, it is very much a plot point
It's
where
sort of
he's
his
just
shtick.
like, going from universe to universe looking for rare weapons to duel people away from. But in Final Fantasy XIV, his whole thing, no matter what game he's in, is he is a duelist that will duel you, and if you lose, he takes your weapon.
Yeah.
And the quest in Final Fantasy XIV is a man is going around dueling people and stealing their weapons. And then an investigator hires himself to go looking for this man. This is Hildebrand.
Can you call it hiring yourself, or is it just you did something?
With Hildebrand, it is hard to tell at times. You're right. Hiring is probably the wrong word, because I don't think he takes money for any of the things he enquiries.
And doing it yourself, you pay
Hildebrand
yourself.
also.
He took money out of one pocket and inserted it into a different pocket.
I don't even know if the man knows what a pocket is. His pockets are all probably fake.
Well, it's a bunch of fantasy armor. There's probably no pockets on there.
No, he doesn't wear armor. He's a gentleman. He wears like a tuxedo. And he is...
Even better? Worse? Question mark?
Again,
you know what?
no brain head empty. He is a very competent investigator. Just... in his own mind, he's a competent investigator.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, like, the things you said are contradictory to one another.
No, yeah, right. But I've already made the long story long, but...
To make a long story, Lord. Too late.
There is too much. Let me sum up. You end up finding Gilgamesh, and he hears the story of a duelist going around and stealing people's weapons, and he's like, "Well, I'm sort of a duelist myself. Let me help you go look for this man." And you spend like half of the quest with Gilgamesh looking for Gilgamesh.
At any point, can you just turn around and be like, "Found him. There he is."
You probably figured it out pretty early, and you just kind of let things happen. And it's just like that. You guys are both so dumb. It's not just those two. There's more characters that are involved that are also pretty dumb. But it's mostly those two.
What does that make your character? Hanging out with him, associating.
We're here making sure nobody gets themselves killed. I guess. I don't know why we're involved in this whole thing.
You're like, now that you mention it, it's
like as far as I can tell, friggin' the dude Manderville's immortal.
That's a handy trait to have.
The dude fell from the moon and survived the landing. Like, he is very much the cartoon character of Final Fantasy XIV.
Or he could be the Saitama. He's the most powerful.
He's... If there is one that is the most powerful, it's his father, who is also a bit of a cartoon character.
Popeye.
I might as well be.
I'm talking about powerful cartoons. I don't know.
I've lost the thread of how I got onto things again.
Yeah, I don't know how we got here. I just know that we were here.
We were talking about the hurdy-gurdy, and then talking about great Final Fantasy music, and then you said something about the big bridge. And then I had to regale the story of Gilgamesh being no brain head empty.
Look, he don't need brain. He have sword.
He has many swords and some spears
And
a spear that has the head of an axe that was fused into the barrel of a pistol.
did he
Because
also
that
have a
questline
couple
wasn't
of
wild enough.
chickens? The Excalibur.
He does have the fake Excalibur, and yes, traditionally he has a companion named Enkidu, who is druid-ish of some sort, depending on which version. In Final Fantasy XIV, he lost Enkidu and has no idea where they are, so he found a chicken and painted it green.
As you do.
Continuing the no thoughts had empty train. It's like, I missed my friend Enkidu, so here's a chicken, I'm painting it green, and it's gonna come along with me. I just... Gilgamesh is the best.
This a noble companion.
The noblest.
I haven't played a mainline Final Fantasy all the way through since 10, and I didn't like 10. So it's been a hot minute. I played a little bit of 12, didn't care for it that much. Played 13, didn't care for that. Never played 15, because at that point I just gave up. And then 16's out, and I hear it's okay, but I don't really have any plans to play it, because it's just not my cup of tea. I like my more turn-based style RPGs, and I like the combination of fantasy and like steampunk tech stuff, and this went like full Game of Thrones fantasy, and I'm just like, just not interested.
And then that's totally fair. So what you're saying is I just gotta get you into Final Fantasy XIV.
But that's just... Look, I've done my time with MMOs.
I haven't.
I've put in the work. I've done my time. 15 years. And that number isn't that much of an exaggeration.
It's like, I understand. You definitely got in there. I know, and I know I've got people in the chat that are in our Discord that are just like, James, you should play more things on your Monday streams. And I'm like, but the Final Fantasy XIV is going to happen a lot now. Because it's an excuse of when to play it. Because I really, really enjoy that game. And I've always wanted an excuse to have more time to play it. Because, adult life. When do you have time for things?
Hold on. You have time for things?
No, I don't.
Where did you find this time? Where can I buy some? Was it on?
I wish I had time.
On sale?
Like, even this episode right now, we're technically recording this episode, like, I don't know, 6 hours later in the day than we normally do because I had no time to do anything today.
Yeah. It do be like that.
It do be like that. Turns out when you've got multiple jobs plus child plus living with your folks.
It's
Also, did you pick up like a bunch of Farsight just now? Or did the game just zoom out and stay zoomed out for some reason?
It zoomed out because the Scion showed up, and I think it did adjust, but it was subtle.
I feel like it stayed zoomed out.
Eh.
You look like your blades is very small all of a sudden.
Just going the old Ataraxia route.
I mean, yeah, why not?
More stealth damage. More general damage. He's kind of sit in one spot. Whip around, go pew pew pew.
Pew pew pew. That's not really pews. You got blades.
But the blades go pew pew pew.
Do they?
Yeah, they have guns. This is my gun blade. Here's a question. Worst Final Fantasy protagonist. I don't even know if I have an answer that doesn't change by the day. Between Squall and Titus, I'll fully admit.
Between Squall and Titus, huh?
Oh yeah.
All right. So let's break this down here. Squall.
Go on. Tell me Squall's redeeming traits. I'll wait.
Look. He's cool.
No. He thinks he is. If you asked Squall, is Squall cool? He would absolutely say yes.
No. Squall would be like, I don't care about being cool.
Yes, but internally he's going, oh man, that line was so cool. Because that's what he is. He's like the dankest edgelord because he thinks it makes him sound cool.
You'd say, do you think you're cool? And he'd just be like, whatever.
Yeah, but internally he'd be like, oh, that was so cool. And that's why he was always the worst.
I don't think he's the worst. He happens to be surrounded by a lot of really chipper characters. So it like sticks out more.
So then finish the fight. Who's worse than him?
Venus is pretty rough because he's just like a trust fund sports jock who got thrust into a thing way bigger than him, and then he may or may not exist, and it's complicated.
Hashtag.
To be fair, I also don't think that Cloud is all that. I don't think that Cloud is all that good of a character.
I think that he starts off standoffish, but at least his like reasoning is reasonable, even if it's not, you know, like he's kind of a dingus, and he grows out of his dingosity in a reasonable amount of time, whereas Squall is a dingus from start to finish.
He grows out of his dingosity after a near-death experience and in like the 11th hour of the game.
He's like, much less dingusy before that. I would say as soon as like Aerith joins the party, he's pretty over his dingosity. His dingusitude levels are much lower.
Oh no.
Like, you just think he's a perpetual dingus because he never made it past, like, the first fight.
I have since gotten past it and beaten the game repeatedly. I think that he keeps his dingosity until he stops thinking that he's Zack.
Well,
Which is even more wild because he acts nothing like Zack.
look, it's all in the hair and, you know, the big sword. He had both of those things.
He had both of those things. And that's it. And then of course Final Fantasy VII has its own problems where it's just like we want to make the story so complicated that we're gonna put it in. That is a lot of punchies. We're gonna break the story up into like 5 games. Have missable content in all of them. And then we're going to be like, all right, guys, remake time. Except, nope, lied. We're not doing a remake. We're doing an alternate reality with time travel bullshit.
Oh, jeez.
Also, a 215 Glaucus. Okay.
Oh, hello. That Glaucus.
He's almost dead.
For someone who couldn't see me, he seemed to know right where I was.
Yeah, he could smell you.
He could taste and smell my fear.
I'm also not a... So, back to the worst protagonist. I'm not a huge fan of Vaughn from 12.
Yeah.
I don't think that Vaughn is necessarily bad. I think he suffers from... Everyone around him is more interesting. He is the main character of the game in a game where, at the very least, 2 other party members, probably 3 other party members, are main characters in their own story that we're not getting the whole story of. Balthier himself calls himself the leading man, would have been a great actual protagonist. Bosch, of course, would have been a fantastic protagonist. And then Ash really is the protagonist, it just doesn't follow her story for some reason. It's just, again, don't think Vaughn is necessarily bad. He's
not
like
leading
4th
man material.
He's not leading man material over other characters in his own party. They never really feel like his party. He's the main character of the game, and he's along for the ride.
Now,
but they are never Vaughn's party.
Now, I've not played that much of 12 because I didn't care for it that much. But I've heard a lot of people argue that you start with him, but he's not necessarily the main character. If you look at it in that light, well, how does that change anything?
If you look at it in that light, sure, but that's like...
I didn't play much of 12, so I have no horse in this race. It's a thing I hear a lot.
That's like arguing like Final Fantasy V, right? You start with Bartz, but Bartz is definitely not the main character, but he absolutely is the main character, especially when you throw something like Dissidia into the mix, where Dissidia's whole thing was, we're going to give you the main character and the main villain from each Final Fantasy and put them in a weird fighting game. Fantastic fighting game. And they're like, no, Vaughn is the character from 12. Bartz is the character from 5. But Final Fantasy V's party is Bartz and all of the princesses. Any one of them is more main character. Every so often, Final Fantasy loves to do a thing. I guess in that respect, that's why I'm not hating on him too hard here. Like I said, I don't hate him as a main character. It was just kind of, it's a little weird that yeah, actually, I think Final Fantasy V might be the last time before 12 where the protagonist isn't the main character or the hero of the story. Like, you follow Vaughn's story throughout everything, but they're less important than everyone else.
Yeah, I can see that.
I guess in that respect, it's an intentional choice. It's just, when it's just writing and sprites, they got to do more to make the characters interesting, whereas a lot of modern games, not just Final Fantasies, but games in general, sometimes rely on either pretty graphics or storytelling tricks for things.
Sure.
No, I don't know. And then, of course, we go to Final Fantasy 13, where everyone thinks they're the main character, and they're all terrible.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's an argument that Lightning is the worst protagonist just because she's a giant nothing burger. Like,
Yeah.
you don't even like. Does she have a personality? Oh,
That's a 240.
That's a 240 and a half.
And it's another punchy, because why not? I know they can't figure out where you are, so they're just like, what if we just put lasers everywhere? We'll hit you eventually.
Ow.
Oh, that's a little bit wee-woo there. Huh.
Just
Maybe you should pick up Blink just in case.
okay, shield's back. Shield's back. Shield came back. XP go down the hole. It's fine. I recovered.
Yeah.
That was a heckin' wave 240.
That was a heckin' one.
The game caught us slacking. We just turned into the Nova Drift podcast because being stealth and shooting things, just kind of sitting back and living our best life. All right.
I haven't played enough of the other ones outside, any of the newer ones. Like I couldn't tell you nothing about Noctis. I don't know if he's good, bad. All I know about 15 at this point is that it's a bunch of dudes road tripping. That's a hyper boost.
Oh, that's a lot of bullets. That's a lot of bullets.
That is a lot of
everywhere.
bullets. I'll let you clear that out, and then you can ask your question if you survive that long.
I'm not convinced that I will.
That's a lot of mines when you screen wrap.
Yep.
Just be careful. At least your shield's back.
Stop shooting every bullet, everybody. They're like, we can't see them, so we're filling the screen. The heck with
Yeah,
it.
that's how you do.
Okay.
If your enemy is invisible, just cast fireball.
So yeah. So
Oh,
the
and the sun.
the other side of the coin is the best protagonist.
I suppose let me caveat the whole conversation of that, because I feel like it's important.
Okay.
I will blanket statement and say that in every Final Fantasy, the protagonist, there's not a single one where the protagonist is the best character.
Oh, absolutely. And that is true for, I would say, most RPGs. I can't think of a single RPG where the main character is my favorite character. Like, that could just be a personal thing. It probably is. I'm sure there's plenty of people who like the main characters of games just fine, but
I will say if I have to pick when it with Final Fantasy specifically, I feel like it's a little cheaty, but I think that if you're asking best Final Fantasy protagonist, I'm gonna give it to Ramza.
okay.
But that's part of that, I think, is just because I think Tactics has better writing than most Final Fantasies.
Yeah. What
So
if
I
I
think that-
limited you to specifically numbered titles?
Yeah, if you limit it to the numbers, it's a little trickier.
I thought you were gonna say something different, and I was waiting to call you out for being a cheeky bugger.
Oh?
I thought you were just gonna be like the heroes of light.
No, because that's the. Yeah, gotta love the classics. You can respect them for what they did, but those are non-characters.
Yeah.
Those are blank slates, right? Even blanker than. Uh-oh. Even blanker than lightning.
Oof, that's pretty vacuous.
Yeah. Or it's like Final Fantasy XIV has an amazing story, but your character in Final Fantasy XIV is really just your stand-in avatar, and that's. Uh-oh.
Game
They're not having your crap right now, are they?
Game Y. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I think if you limit me to the numbered Final Fantasies, I think I just got to give it to Zidane then, from 9.
Okay.
Which again, don't think he's the best character in.
To me, Zidane is always just he's just a dude bro. He's just a dude broing. Oh, where am I? Oh, there I am.
But yeah, you're right in the middle of all those lines.
The vortex.
So let me give you the reasoning behind why I think Zidane is the best, right? Zidane has right off the bat in the game, he's got personality, right? You give a lot of
Oh boy. Oh, I think this is it. I think
this might be. Oh, let's stand.
It wasn't it.
All right, you're not done.
I'm not done. Give me a second.
So we had our moments of, Cloud and Squall have their serious issues when we first meet them, and they never really get better. Some of them get better than others.
Yeah,
oh boy.
there we go. I knew my time was limited. It's fine.
Zidane starts cool, has his realization of what the crap is with his own backstory, has his existential crisis, and then just comes back better for it.
I think a lot of characters have that arc, but some do it better than others, and
Some do it better than
sooner than others. If some do it at all.
And I just think that he has. I think that he has similarities to other protagonists and just does their stuff better.
Yeah. But so there you go.
It's also the one that most in need of a true proper remake.
Yeah. But yeah, we didn't talk much about this build as we were doing the build. We kind of just like set it up. All right, this is what we're doing, and then we kind of went off on our own little tangents. But I assumed that was going to happen because there's only so much you can say about just trying to be stealthy and shooting things.
Yeah, I will say. I mean, it's effective. You hit almost level 3, wave 300, or close to it.
It was like mid 200s.
Mid 200s, like it's solid.
It is alright. If I did more strafey things, it would have been fine. If I just had slightly more mobility and utilized it more, that would have fine. Got him. But I was trying to just focus more on getting just maximum stealth damage to see how high I can get. It was pretty good. We also fought about 86 punchies.
You really did.
But yeah, it's a solid build if you want to just be stealthy and zap things. It's very, very good. A lot of people have high success with it. I didn't have the best success with it, but it was pretty good. Yeah, so in any case, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys next time.
Okay, bye.